All right, we wanted to just go over a new product that we just got into the shops at House of Fly, and that is Semperfli's new boom dubbing. So, just gonna go over a few things about this new dubbing. We just saw this at the Confluence show, brand new, and it's a really cool new dubbing that we've been messing around on some Trout Spey flies. So I got a Trout Spey fly here, kind of prepared. I already started the main stuff. If you want to tie along with this fly, where I'm at is I just put on one of our squatchy barbells, a little tungsten barbell. Adds a ton of weight, so you don't have to fish a huge sink tip, and still drops down quickly into the water column. And this is the 3mm / 1/8 size squatchy barbell. I got a little size 8 steelhead hook, 2 strands of lateral scale, micro lateral scale flashaboo, and a sparse little peach marabou tail to start the fly. We're using Nano Silk 12/0, and but the main thing we want to talk about here was the boom dubbing. So just a bunch of stuff you can do this. The cool thing about this, it is really long fibers. So you can tie anything from what we're about to tie to full-size baitfish patterns with this new dubbing. In fact, going to Florida next month, and we've been tying little little mangrove baitfish patterns for throwing in tight to the mangroves and stuff like that with this. It has a really nice sheen to the fibers, has just a slight amount of flash in the dubbing, and has a nice wavy look to it. So we've been using it as a substitute for bodies on Trout Spey flies. So first thing I'm going to do is, this is really long. I want to put this in a dubbing loop. So we're going to cut this down into basically 2-inch sections. So I'll just take this long fiber, kind of pull it apart, get the pieces put together, and we'll just make a little pile of 2-inch sections and just stack. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. Probably better if it's not perfect. And it's just gonna look like this, just a pile, just a stack from cutting the pieces apart like that. And you can clean that up just by kind of trimming the ends. The cool thing about this, no matter what fly size you're trying to tie, you don't have to have a dubbing brush for the right size. You can cut this stuff to size and it turns out really good. So we're just gonna make a quick dubbing loop. And we're gonna take that bunch of fibers and just stick it into the loop. And now we can just pull those fibers apart and just create a nice sparse little dubbing brush with the boom fibers. This color is tan, which actually pairs. It has a little tiny bit of peach color into it. It's a really nice tan. Pairs well with that color marabou. And now we can just, but you can see how nice that sits in the dubbing loop. And then we can just spin it up. And actually, the reason I've been switching to this is I think it's actually making better bodies than a lot of the kind of leech dubbings I was using for Trout Spey flies prior to this coming out. So it's kind of hard to get excited about a new dubbing because they come out all the time. And we have all the colors of laser yarn and AZ semi seal and ice dub and all this stuff. But this one I did add most of the colors. So we're just gonna wrap this. You can see that it creates almost just a perfect little brush with no bulk on the inside. And we're just gonna spin this up the body, kind of just picking it out as we go up. Okay, I'm gonna stop right about there because I want some room to put a dark head on the front here. Brush that out just a little bit. Of course, you guys can do this. Don't have to do it at this stage. You can do the brushing at the end, but I just want you guys to see how well this is profiling over the marabou. That's the first step. Okay, so that first color was tan. The second color we're gonna throw over the top is not brown olive. It's blue-brown. It says blue-brown because there's some kind of flecks of blue in the dubbing. Definitely has an overall brown hue. So again, we got this long section of fibers. We're gonna cut this down. We're just gonna kind of pull it apart and stack them on top of each other the best we can until we can't really, the center doesn't pull out. That means we kind of got them even. That's how long the fibers are. We're gonna cut that into slightly longer than the first batch. So at the first batch, you cut it like 2 inches. This one, we're gonna cut it 2.5, maybe even 3. So we want it to taper slightly over the first dubbing loop. So something like that. Might even cut that down just a little bit. Something like that. And you can measure it out. Remember, if you put this in the dubbing loop, it's gonna be half. So if we say about half, those fibers should end up right around here, almost halfway down the marabou tail. Make one more dubbing loop. What I really like about this new dubbing is just so easy to work with. Like if you pull it apart, it just it's easy to make it do whatever you want it to do, which isn't always easy to accomplish. So here we go. We got this. You can see the length out past that marabou tail. So when we spin it and wind it, that's about where that should taper out to. Okay, we got that picked out, and then we'll just do the same thing with just pulling those fibers back as good as we can, and we'll have to pick some out as well and brush it out. Okay, and you can tie this all and just keep it all behind the eyes, or you can, of course, weave it between the eyes. I'm going to do that. This is, I've been tying these kind of different every single time, so this is definitely not a fly tying tutorial, but it is to show the diversity of this new boom dubbing. Okay, we'll get one wrap in front of the eyes here. And then we'll tie it off. So at this point we can just brush this out, and this stuff brushes out really well. I see on that side we had it kind of hung up, so brush that out. All right. So yeah, once you get it cleaned up a little bit, it is this boom dubbing just tapers just perfect. Has nice translucency. You can see through the fibers kind of nice, even on the dark colors. So this swung, you know, it's gonna look awesome in the water. So we've already used this a few times on the Missouri, caught quite a few fish on it. Again, work on the patterns with it. We got it in a bunch of colors, you know, tons of trout colors. But again, this is boom dubbing from Semperfli. We have it right now on houseofly.us. Thanks for watching.